today's episode of Huber Hype, it's Halloween in March and it's time to get spooky. We're shaking things up on Huber Hype. Today is part 1 of 2 on our anime-style arc of survival horror, Origins. So for me, it all began in 1995. I was 8 years old, sitting in my parents' room with their Aptiva computer, a brand that doesn't even exist anymore. This Aptiva computer was in my parents' bedroom. Their bed is right here, comes up to the edge of this computer desk. So I'm sitting there, they're snoring right there. I got my headphones on, booting up Windows 95. We got some floppy disks on the desk, alone in the dark. I'm way too young to be playing this game. I am this private investigator entering this haunted mansion, which is my favorite theme of games, by the way. If you're in a haunted mansion, you can count me in, I'll be there too. You're this private investigator, and the best part is, you know, you're looking for someone in the mansion, you come in, the door slams shut behind you, you don't care. You go deeper into this mansion, everything's fine, you go all the way up into the attic where you get cornered by a rabid dog and all hell breaks loose. I love that intro because you enter this seemingly safe place, everything is fine, you keep going further, and they wait until that moment when you are cornered in the attic to confront you with an overwhelming monster. So clearly the PC is doing some pretty crazy things, but on the console side, we got Sega Genesis, Splatterhouse 3, my personal favorite in this trilogy. The beautiful thing was that this is the first Splatterhouse with non-linear gameplay. You're going around, you're exploring different rooms, collecting items. There's creepy teddy bears like frickin' that scene in Akira that are attacking you, stabbing you in the eyes. You got the hockey mask, you're Jason Voorhees, you're pumping up, steroid style, grabbing the teddy bear, ripping its head off. The violence got this game an MA13 rating, a new concept at that time. My brother and I used to have this neighbor we used to call Blockbuster, because they had 75,000 VHSs. And in that stack of cassette tapes that just reached the ceilings, Friday the 13th anthology, every single entry in this film franchise, just that combination with Rick from Splatterhouse, hockey mask killers, obsessed. Next up, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about a little known gem called Resident Evil, but this is the game that changed my life. My first foray into this nightmare wasn't even by my own hands. Had another neighbor named Jacob Cadena. Fortunate enough to have a PlayStation 1. I was still rocking Nintendo 64, GoldenEye, facility, license to kill, pistols only. Used to go to his house, up in his little room. Guy has Resident Evil. Have no idea what this game is at the time. I'm way too young. All there are magazines to preview games. The internet is a foreign concept. I used to go over to his house and stay the night and play this thing from sundown to sunup, creeping through that mansion, further taking the aspects of Alone in the Dark and even Splatterhouse, finding items, backtracking when you have more ways to open doors and solve puzzles. And my obsession was born from more than just psycho killers and crazy monsters. It was story. It was putting an emphasis on an evil corporation, double crosses, genetic freakish experiments, and an alliance between STARS members, camaraderie. Latching onto their stories and those characters changed my life. Last up, Enemy Zero. Unfortunately, you can't choose your parents. Sega Saturn game. This game blends cinematic storytelling and gameplay, Metal Gear Solid style, maybe even better than Kojima ever did. The monsters on this derelict spaceship are invisible. Ripley had it easy compared to these things. There's a slow pulse that quickly accelerates, as these freaks get closer. You have a charge-up pistol. The thing is, if you go too much, it overheats. Not enough, you're not gonna kill this thing. The shrill of their attacks will leave you quivering in your bedroom. I love movies almost as much as I love video games, and this was the first time where they were actually blended together. It was like I was controlling a film, and I'll never forget it. Survival horror gets me riled up. That was only part one. Part two next week. We're gonna talk about survival horror in recent years, where we are now, some standout entries in the genre. Coming up on GameTrailers.com this week, who cares? Cause it's Bloodborne week! So last week we did an episode on economies, a big deal in my book, and I asked if you are a hoarder or a spender, or to give me some examples of some great economies in video games, and here are what a couple of you had to say. Casper says, I can't help but always hoard my cash throughout the entire game and then finish with way too much in the bank. I do the same with my items. You know what, I'm the same exact way, Casper. I wait till the last conceivable, possible second to spend a dime. I go as far as physically possible in a game until there's no hope left. Gotta give those penny pinchers something, I guess. Also, Deadman20 says, Assassin's Creed 2 had the first in-game economy I was privy to. Assassin's Creed 2, still in my eyes, has the best money currency in that entire franchise. Building up your town with shops was so satisfying because you saw the work that your money did. You know, you would see the shops expand, you could expand areas and get everything all touched up and nice. It's beautiful. Lord Dobrev really made me laugh. He said, StarCraft has the best economy. Every game, the first thing I buy is a spawning pool. It's a good purchase. So that's it for the show. Here's my Twitter. I really want to know some of your favorite survival horror moments from the early years. We're going to get into modern stuff next week. Please let me know some of your personal stories. I don't want to miss them. We'll see you next week. Today's Huber's Q is a little bizarre. The Bourne Conspiracy! Out of nowhere, this game had no business being as good as it was. Yeah, there were a couple driving sections that kind of marred it, held it back a little bit, but this hand-to-hand combat from High Moon Studios is a standout entry into the genre. You're Jason Bourne, you use the environment to attack, you grab books, slam them down, dodge, crack some heads, break some arms, there's boss battles. This game is fantastic. The only reason I found out about it was because of an Xbox Live demo. I'm glad I played it. Check it out from the bargain bin.